Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. All praises due to Allah, the Lord of mankind and all other creation. And peace be upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household and his companion, and all our faithful departed. Ya Allah, Amen. We are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with a very good ending. The ending that was promised to the virtuous one with the kalma to shahada as the last word, inshallah. Amen. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Tonight, I would like to do my preach in English, because yesterday I believe that I did that in French, but I was kind of too tired. I started it in English, but after that I believe that, I was not pleased, I was not satisfied with it, so I decided to do it today. I'm well rested. And whatever subject I talked about yesterday, I would like to talk about it today in English. And I'm asking my French-speaking viewers to understand, as I promised the other day, that the best I can do is, to also share whatever little knowledge that I have with those who don't speak, French. And I promise, and I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me keep that, that promise, inshallah. I mean. So yesterday the topic was what? What was it? It was about people being more concerned about how they die than how death finds them. And it is sad. It is sad that we are very concerned about that. We are very, very, very concerned, and that this has become a preoccupation for all of us. No, it shouldn't be, because death itself is not. There is no shame in it, because it's a destiny. It's something that was prescribed upon us, and it's going to happen. From the moment you are born, be sure that you will die. There is no going around it. It is what it is. And death doesn't know color. Death does not know social studies. Does not know. Death does not know religion. So from the moment you were born, there is something, and I believe that the only sure thing in this dunya is death. You have to be sure of it. You have to be, you have to believe that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, unfortunately. So with this pandemic going on, what I come to realize is people are kind of embarrassed. They are ashamed, because when somebody loses his parent to the COVID-19, the thing is it doesn't want anybody to know the real cause of the death. Why? What is so embarrassing about it? What is so shameful about it? It's a pandemic. It's a disease. It's a illness. Nobody goes around to shop for it. It doesn't catch you because you're poor or because you're black. It doesn't catch you because you're Muslim or you're Christian or you're white. It's a disease. Some people may have, some people may not. So having that, there is no shame. There is no shame about that. There shouldn't be. We shouldn't be ashamed. We shouldn't be embarrassed. I'll tell you a story. It doesn't matter how long we stay in this dunya, we will go, and everyone will go with a reason. Our death would be attached to something. It could be a drive-by shooting. It could be a gun wound to my head. It could be, me being lost at sea. You can go hunting and you can get lost in the mountain. You could be a soldier and you can be, how would you call it, blown by, how would you call an IED. It could be a house fire. You can be burned, completely burned. People will not even see your remains. You could be sleeping peacefully and die. You could be on your prayer rug and you could die. You could go to Hajj, you could die. But we are all proud when you hear that, you know what? When my brother or your brother dies, how would you call it, while praying in the masjid or in the prayer rag, it becomes something to be proud of because you want to talk about, you want to share that experience with people. Oh my God, he was such a good Muslim. He was such a good believer. Do you know how he died? He died while praying. There is no difference between the guy who died in his prayer rag and the guy who died of, how would you call it, coronavirus. There is no difference. The difference here would be how death found us. How the state in which death finds you, that's the most problem. That's what we should be worried about. Now how I die. It is so unfortunate, but this is a reality, it's the truth. We have to talk about the coronavirus in the community. We have to talk about those who die from it. There is nothing to be embarrassed about that. There is nothing to be ashamed. No. Death is death. It doesn't matter how you die. The day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, we will all be resurrected. Allah said, He said that He, Allah, who created us first, He will take our life and after that He will resurrect us. The day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's reading in the book. If I happen to die at sea, just like so many kids happen to die during, at the Mediterranean. We have a lot of kids that used to live, West Africa. They came to Libya and they tried to cross to go to Europe. A lot of them died at sea. We didn't see their body. Nobody was there to bury them. Nobody was there to pray on them. Nobody was there to wash them. Some of them were hiding from their families to go, seek a better life. They left their family in search for a better life. And what happened? Some of them didn't make it. I have a lot of brothers and sisters who made it, but some didn't. What does that mean? They die. That's how they died. That's how they were destined to die. Alhamdulillah. Resurrection will be done. I remember as he's reading in the Quran, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam once has a conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he asked him, he said, Ya Allah, can you please show me how resurrection is done? How you resurrect people? And Allah told him, don't you believe me? He said, yes, I believe, but I just want to see. That's the nature of a human being. And Allah told him, please go and grab 4 birds. Allah right there could have told him, you know what, why don't you grab a sheep? Because he had. Why don't you grab a sheep and slaughter him? And I will resurrect him. No, Allah wanted it because he asked a question. Allah wanted to put him to that test. It was not an easy task. He wanted it. He has to go and look for it. He has to go and find it. He has to go and find the answer. He had to catch the bird. After catching them, 4 different birds. Allah told him to kill them, slaughter them, take them into pieces, mix them up, and go and put everybody part on the top of, how do you call it, 4 mountains. 4 different mountains. Mix them up and go and put some here, put some here, put some here in 4 on the top of 4 mountains. So imagine going on the top of a mountain. That's not an easy task for anybody. Going on the top of a mountain, you have to climb. You have to go all the way to the top. Yes, he did it because he wanted it to find out something. And he did. Allah told him, do that and come back and call them, they will come to you. He did. He called them and they came back. And we have so many instances in the Quran that talk about resurrection. Even when we talk about Surah Baqarah, how do you call the calf? The story is based on, how do you call a resurrection? How Allah resurrected a man that was killed by somebody. They have to find a cow, how do you call it, a specific, how do you call it, type of a cow. They have to find them, they have to kill them, they have to hit the cow. That's a long story. We will talk about that if people are more interested in another time, inshallah. So it doesn't matter how you die. It does not matter. The cause of your death shouldn't be a concern because you don't know. As you don't know how you were born, you have to know that you will not know how you will die. It's not in your hand, it's not in my hand. This is a mystery that is known only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the thing that I know, and I'm seeking Allah's forgiveness, and I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me, that is how I will die. How I will die, what does that mean? I mean that in the state in which I will die. Because we all want to die completely submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a believer. A Christian who dies as a believer is completely certain that, you know what, if he dies this way, he will find redemption. If he dies this way, Allah will find him a better place. A Jewish guy, same thing. A Muslim guy, the same thing. So I'm talking here about my faith. As a Muslim, the only thing I should worry about is when death comes to me, how prepared would I be? In which state I should be when death comes to me? Would I be completely submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Would I be completely, how do you call a good believer? That's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Now, how did God die? People are embarrassed. The way resurrection will be done, we don't have to worry about that. It was said, Allah said that we will be resurrected. We will be resurrected. But on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the thing that will matter the most would be your deeds. Would be your deeds. What did you do? Where were you when death found you? Where were you? What were you doing? In which state were you when death found you? Let's not worry about it. Let's talk about this. When people die of coronavirus, it's okay to talk about it. It's okay for us to know. It's okay for the community to know. It will make some people, because as of right now, we have a lot of people who do not believe. As of right now, some people don't care. This is not politics. This is a reality. A lot of people don't believe. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people are not taking the, how would you call it, they're not taking seriously what the authorities are saying. So because of that, this thing is spreading. Especially in our community, in the African community. Every time there is something, everybody wants to go there. It's good to show your love to people. There is nothing wrong with that. But if by doing that, you are causing yourself trouble, if you are putting yourself, your health in how would you call, at risk. Not only your risk, your how would you call, your health, but people around you. Because if I'm sick, everybody around me would get sick. So these are things that we should understand. We don't have to worry about it. If anybody happened to die of coronavirus on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, you're not going to be asked how. What kills you? That will not be Allah's concern. That will not be Allah's concern. Speaking of how do you call, how people die, we have how do you call Usman ibn Affan radwan anhu. He was the third caliph of our deen. It was murder. It was murdered, but not by Christian, but it was murdered by Muslim. As he was sitting at his house at 82 years old, they came and they slaughtered him. And they dragged his body around Medina. This man was the leader of our Ummah. And there was some Muslim who came and decided to kill him. And what did he say to his people? Ali Radwan Anhu and his kids, all the Muslims who were with him, he told them, I do not want anybody to stand up for me. I do not want the blood of another Muslim to shed today. They here for me, they're not here for you. They here for me, let them come to me. Ali insisted. He said, not to him. Don't defend me. He spoke to his people. He told them what they needed to do. And when it was time for them to come, they come to him, they kill him, they drag his body. One of Rasulullah widow came out and told them, I, the mother of the believer, if you do not leave the body of our leader, of Usman ibn Affan radwan anhu, if you do not leave it there, I will walk around Medina without my scarf, without my hijab. Yes, they were rebels, but they were Muslim, and they didn't want that because that would have been a curse for them. This is how Usman ibn Affan died. Radwan anhu. The woman had to bring his body. Ali Radwan anhu and how do you call, his kid, and the other Muslims that were there, they have to wash him. Did the janaza, and these rebels were there, and there were so many of them. They didn't even want his body to be buried in Baqi. And this was the leader. It was not a surprise to him. Why? Because Rasulullah warned him. He told him that there will come a fitna, and that fitna will be so big it will not leave you behind. He was concerned about it, but these are people to whom, how would you call, Allah has already promised, how would you call, paradise. Ali Radwan anhu was what? He was assassinated. Umar ibn Khattab was stabbed. There has to be a reason attached to our death. It could be illness, it could be gunshot, it could be fire, it could be, how do you call it, drowning, it could be anything. Don't worry about how. That shouldn't be your concern. Rasulullah was asked, who is the smartest guy around? Who is the most intelligent human being? He didn't talk about a Hafiz. He didn't talk about a doctor or a scientist. His answer was simple. He said the most intelligent human being is who thinks about death constantly. When you think about death constantly, wallahi billahi tallahi, you will live your life thinking that your last action would be your last action. Your action, the action you're doing right now would be your last action. So when you know that what happened, when you think like that what happened, you start becoming decent. You become decent in how you call your behavior. You become kind to people. You become nice to people. When you talk to people, you talk to people politely. When you pray like this would be how you call your last prayer. When you talk to people, you try hard not to offend anybody. That's the thing that should be our concern. How death will find us, not how we die. It's going to be between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So give us a break. Those who die of coronavirus were not cursed. They were not cursed. And nobody should be ashamed of that. Talk about it. If you happen to be infected, talk about it. Talk about it. Some people may give you something that could help you heal. Today I spoke to a friend of mine, big brothers. I spoke to not only one, but two of them. We were on conference call. They told me that they were sick. I didn't know. All bunch of them were sick. But nobody wanted to talk about it. But today, when we spoke, that's what he said. Among us, this, and then alhamdulillah, I got to talk to some of them. They gave me, how would you call this medication. They told me, if you do this, you do that, you do that. This is the thing we did, and he healed us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We didn't have to go to the hospital. I've never done something like this. It's talking about medication is because the people who told me, they experienced it and they did it, and I believe them, I trust them. That's the reason why I'm talking about it now. Talk about it. If you could save one life, alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Coronavirus is a illness just like anybody else. Any other virus, it is. It's a illness like any other illness. So I want people not to be embarrassed. I want people to talk about it. If you could help one person, why not? A Muslim shouldn't be, shouldn't be embarrassed. Your soul does not belong to you. Your soul does not belong to you. Allah created. That's the reason why Allah is saying in the Quran, when you kill, you take the soul of one human being. You take the soul of one innocent human being. It's like if you have taken out the soul of all mankind. Killing one person is like killing the entire mankind. Because you didn't give that soul. You didn't bring that soul to life. Even if it's your child, his soul does not belong to you. So Muslim, Islam condemns, I'm telling you, all kind of killing. So you dying of a disease does not make you a less of a good believer. It was time for you. Your death was meant to be linked to this, and it happened. Doctors are dying, nurses are dying, preachers are dying, pastors are dying, imams are dying. If it was meant to be, it would be. It doesn't mean that we don't have to protect ourselves. But the truth is like we don't have to be embarrassed. We don't have to be ashamed. We can do the best we can do to prevent our lives. to protect our life by respecting every precautionary measure that were given to us by the authorities. If they tell us to stay confined, alhamdulillah, stay confined. If they're telling you to quarantine yourself, stay quarantined. They're asking you to wash your hand, to social distance yourself, why not? Anything you can do to keep yourself safe, because a believer shouldn't brave death. Saying that, you know, this is death is not a big deal, I'll go. If it happened, it happened. No. There was a kid in the time of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that wanted to kill himself. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to him. What are you doing? He said, no, Ya Rasul, I just want to die. I want to kill myself. And his answer was, wow. He asked him, he said, would you kill yourself while I'm still in your midst? While I'm still around you, would you kill yourself? But it happened. Sometimes people are depressed. Sometimes people don't think straight. We are in the community, everybody has his own problem. And this is the time, I will take this opportunity to ask people, to urge people to call each other. Not everybody is blessed to be surrounded by good people. I could be friend with you on Facebook. Call me to check upon me. It takes a minute. I call you to check upon you. It takes a minute. I have to go back to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and that kid. He told him, he said, a good Muslim, a good believer, this is what he should think, or this is what he should say. He said, pray, ask Allah, Ya Allah, keep me alive as long as living is good for me. And take my soul as long as dying is good for me. Take my life as long as you think that dying is what is best for me, but keep me around for a long time as long as you think that living is the right thing for me. Because we have to pray to have a long life. Why? Because from the moment you die is over, all your actions stop. Your action that your good deed, things that you will do with your hand, with your mouth, things that you will work towards that will benefit you, all this will stop. The prayer, from the moment you die, there is no more prayer for you. Not in the grave, not in the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and not in Jannatul Firdaus if we are blessed to go there. So all the prayers we're doing here, this is it. You die is over. My mom, may Allah grant her Jannah, she doesn't have to worry about praying. My grandma, may Allah grant her Jannah, she doesn't have to worry about praying. All our faithful departed, they don't have to worry about praying. So a Muslim has to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, grant me a long life. Why? Because when you are granted a long life, what happened to you? It gives you the chance to redeem yourself. It gives you the chance to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It gives you the chance to do more good deed. It gives you the chance to pray more, to ask Allah to forgive you. Don't count on anybody else to do that for you, because people don't have time. Just go on Facebook and check. Go on Facebook and check. Somebody dies today, people will come and write RIP. People will come and say, you know what? They will write down RIP instead of writing, Ya Allah, grant him Jannatul Firdaus. Ya Allah, may the prayer that I'm making for this man, for this person who passed away, may those prayers be a light, be Yorama for him, where he's going. People don't have time to write all that. RIP means rest in peace, but people don't even have time to write the whole sentence. Do you think that I will sit here and worry about people praying for me? People don't even pray for themselves. I was talking the other day about kids. We have so many good guys. They did the best they can do. They put their kids to the best school. Secular education, not Islamic education. Secular. Their kids went to the most prestigious university around the world. And then what? They couldn't even recite Fatiha. These kids cannot even pray. They cannot even stand and recite the prayer. Because they were not put to that. Because their parents did not think about that. The only thing they thought about was what? Their spa in this dunya. This dunya, which is how do you call a short-lived time. That's the only thing they thought about. Bringing my kid to Arabic school, bringing my kids somewhere for them to read, to learn how to pray, to learn how to read the Quran, that was the least of their concern. Now they are there. Those kids, where are they? They have very good position in the government. They have very good position, how do you call it, in corporate America, because they got the best education possible. But what are they doing for the parents who passed away? Are they praying for them? It's been reported in Sahih Bukhari that the status of a believer will be raised up. And he will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did this happen? And Allah will tell him that your progeny ask for forgiveness for you. How would your progeny ask forgiveness for you if he doesn't know how to? Are we concerned about the cause of our death? Still, let's be concerned about how death will find us. Wallahi. Let's be concerned about how death will find us. That's the only thing. Pray for a long life. If they tell you that this right there will hurt you, don't go there. When you are praying on your prayer rug and you see a snake coming and you know that that snake would bite, if he bites you, you will die, stop your prayer and hasta la vista, get out. When you get out, you will have another opportunity to pray. Allah will understand, because Allah said in the Quran that we have to protect our life with our being. Anything we can do to protect our life, we have to do. Death should be the last resort for anybody. Because paradise, Jannatul Firdaus, is not promised to anybody. Jannatul Firdaus, your prayer, your good deed, none of that will grant you Jannatul Firdaus. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how do you call I bless you. I bless you with what? With our Kautar. Is a gift. Is a gift Allah has given to him. Allah has blessed him with. And our Kautar is a river in Jannatul Firdaus. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes, Allah promised him that. But Allah is telling him, when he lost his son, Ibrahim, when he was only 18 months, it was lost because that was the last son he had. He buried two previous. Qasim and Abdallah. May Allah be pleased with all of them. So the little one that he had when he reached old age, that little kid died when he was 18 months. He was afflicted because there were some hypocrite in Medina at that time chanting, saying that he has no more, how do you call he has no future, he has, how do you call no progeny, he has nobody after him. And Allah gave him that ayah. So all that I'm mentioning for people to understand that don't be so cocky, don't be so arrogant, don't be so sure of your act of worship, saying that, you know what, I'm a good Muslim. When I die, I'm going to go to Jannah. Subhanallah. Don't brave death. Don't say, you know what? No, nobody should be ready for death. Nobody. Even Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, you guys know the story. When the angel of death came to him to take his soul, he said no, he had to fight with him. give him a good knock on his eye. The angel of death went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, told him, he said, you know what? This guy is not ready. And when Allah told him, go to him, tell him to take this. Take this, how do you call this animal, and take his hand and grab, how do you call you see, I'm losing it. Grab, how do you call, the hair of the back of this animal. Go to Musa, ask him to grab the hair of, how do you call, as many or as much as he could to grab it. A handful, he took it. And asked him to count. When he came, he asked Musa to do it. Musa did it, and he said, okay, count. He said, when you count, whatever the number would be, that will be the years you will stay in this dunya. And Musa asked him, alayhi salatu wasalam, and then what? And he said, after that, you're going to go. He said, okay, I would rather go now. Allahu Akbar. These people, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam spoke directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without nobody in between. He was not ready to die. And he was a prophet. So we don't have to challenge death. And at the same time, I'm asking everybody not to be embarrassed of death. How you're going to die, the cause of your death shouldn't be something embarrassing. It shouldn't be. If it happened, it happened. If it happened to me, Kareem, I wouldn't want anybody to say that, you know what, he didn't die of this. No. This was meant to be, and that would be. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was sick when he died. All these little things happen for us to know that anything that happened to you today or to me today has already happened to somebody. People that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves so much, they went through it. Sayyidina Ayub alayhi salatu wasalam, can anybody get sicker than this man? Despite his faith, despite everything that he had, he got sick to the point that he lost everything. But he never lost faith. He kept on asking. He kept on asking, and Allah gave him back everything he lost and more, as Allah said in the Quran. Let's fear the day death will come. Let's fear that, and let's fear how, in the state in which death will find us. That should be our concern. Now, not the reason why we died. Coronavirus is not a curse. It's not. During this pandemic, those who die from it are no less than those who die not from it. Because some people are dying not from coronavirus, some people are dying from it. So those who did not die from it, trust me, they are not better than those who die from it. So let's make dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect all of us from it. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our intention and our heart. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect everyone who is not yet infected, and to make sure we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to prevent us from to protect us from it, inshallah. Amen. Those who are passed from it, may Allah grant them Jannah. And the brave nurses and doctors, the firefighters, police officers, people who are there on the front line trying to save lives, Ya Allah, may Allah protect them and their families. Every time they leave home, we pray in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them to come back home, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, with their family. Those who are going through tough time, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with with his sakina, with his rahmah. We have a lot of couples who are going through problems right now. May Allah bring what you call peace in their home. May Allah bless our children with what you call with the knowledge of how you call the Hafiz, Ya Allah, Amin. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our children to grow to become a better ambassador to the deen, Ya Allah, Amin. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bestow His peace, His blessing, and His sakina, His rahmah upon our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, and all what you call his noble companion, and all our faithful departed. And I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us, Ya Allah, with the handing how do you call that was promised to the virtuous one, Ya Allah, Amin, with how do you call the kalmatu shahada as the last word, inshallah, Amin. May Allah protect us from our own jihad, inshallah, Amin. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم ربنا ولا تحملنا ولا تحملنا بواعفنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا انت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة انك انت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي والمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي والمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي والمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا استغفر الله وسبحان الله والحمد لله والله اله الا الله والله اكبر الله اكبر ولا حول ولا قوه الا بالله العظيم Subhanallah wa ni'mal wakil, subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, salamun al mursalin walhamdulillah rabbil alamin. And pour les gens qui me demandaient de faire le prêche en français, avant de commencer le prêche, c'est ce que j'avais dit. J'ai dit que j'ai promis désormais de faire, comment dirais-je, un prêche en anglais et un prêche en français. Hier, j'ai fait ce prêche-là, comment dirais-je, en français. Pour ceux qui ne l'ont pas vu, c'est encore sur ma page. Vous pouvez aller le voir. Mais aujourd'hui, c'était, comment dirais-je, exclusivement en anglais. Et je suis en train de le dire maintenant pour que les gens comprennent, ceux qui m'avaient demandé de le faire. Donc, chaque fois que je fais le prêche en français, ça va être exclusivement en français. Chaque fois que je le ferai en anglais, ça va être exclusivement, comment dirais-je, en anglais. Et s'il y a des questions à poser, Inch'Allah, les gens peuvent rentrer dans mon inbox. S'il y a des idées, il y a des suggestions, il ne faut pas éviter. Contactez-moi, je suis accessible, Inch'Allah. As I was saying that there were some people asking me to do this in French, and I told them that I promised the other day that from now on I will be doing a preach, how would you call it, in English and in French, you know what I mean, but it will not be the same day, unfortunately. But I did this preach already, how would you call it, yesterday, so it's still on my page. For those who didn't see it, who didn't catch it, you can go and see it, inshallah, amen. And should you have any question, should you have any suggestion, should you have any idea, just feel free to contact me in my inbox. Call me if you can, if you will, and or text me. How would you call your idea? We can talk about, we can discuss, and inshallah we will do some research on it and come and how would you call sit and debate here. As I usually say, like from the moment that one person contacts me, tells me about a situation in the community, I assume that, you know, we have 1,000 of people going through the same problem, and not everyone is bold enough to contact or to come and talk about it. So I would do, how would you call that I will preach about that, not for the person only who contacted me, who spoke to me about it, but I will do it for everyone else, and you know, hoping that that will help. My objective, my goal here is to change only one life. I'm not here, only Allah can change. But if Allah through me can change one life, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, that would be something great for me. And I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help me, and I'm asking you guys to continue, how would you call it, to trust me, to believe in me, and to, how would you call it, to help me get there, because by myself, I promise you that I will not be able to do it. I have a lot of support from a lot of brothers. I have a lot of support from a lot of imams. Trust me, and I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the bottom of my heart that everything I'm doing as an act of worship, I'm asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if there is something good to get from it, I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, how would you call, split that, to share whatever asana that I'm getting in equal power with everybody, inshallah. Amen. Donc, comme je le disais, il faut être libre de me contacter à tout moment. Et je vous remercie tous parce que seul, je ne peux pas faire ça. Il y a beaucoup de personnes qui mettent de l'aide venant de beaucoup d'imams. Beaucoup d'imams. Et vraiment, qui m'encouragent et qui sont là, qui me soutiennent. Quand j'ai besoin de certaines informations, je les appelle. En premier, j'ai 2 imams que je contacte à tout moment. Mon frère, imam Seydou Diallo depuis Abidjan. Et puis, j'ai mon frère, imam Badjaga ici, Daouda Badjaga, avec qui les gens ont l'habitude de me voir. Quand je les appelle, qu'à n'importe quel moment j'ai besoin d'informations, ces gens-là sont là pour moi. Alors je prie Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala de bénir ces gens-là. Et vous aussi qui me soutenez, qui m'encouragez dans ce que je suis en train de faire, je demande à Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala de partager à part égale tous les asanas que je vais avoir. Je ne dis pas de vous donner la moitié, je dis à part égale tout ce qui m'est destiné. Si ce que je suis en train de faire, c'est quelque chose de bon, wallahi, je demande à Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala de vous en donner à part égale, inshallah. Amen. Alors, sur ce, je vais vous laisser. I'm gonna part ways here, hoping to get you guys to be with you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.